Hi everyone. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about building your vocabulary. Now, there are lots of ways out there that you can use to build your vocabulary. There are lots of apps that you can download, lots of reading techniques, writing techniques, but the technique I'm going to focus on in this tutorial is word families. Now, word families are groups of words with a common part, which all share a common meaning. And that common part we sometimes call the root. So the fun thing about starting with a root is that you can build your vocabulary by linking word and meaning in a sentence, in context, so it makes sense. Okay? And because it makes sense, you remember it better. After a while, you also start to see a pattern in how words are formed in English. Then you can have fun by taking the different words, different forms of a word, and put it in different sentences yourself. That's fun. I like to do that. But then this beautiful thing happens. You start to recognize different forms of the word just out of the blue. When you listen to the radio or when you listen to someone speak or when you read, you go, oh, that sounds like. And in doing so, you learn a new word. So the members of word families in English are usually a verb, which is an action word, a noun or a thing, an adjective, which are words that describe nouns or things, and adverbs, which are words that describe actions. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's a challenge for learners to understand the difference between an adjective and an adverb. So I'll repeat: adjectives describe nouns or things. Adverbs describe actions. And most adverbs in English end in ly. Not all, but the vast majority. So here we have a group of words, some roots that we're going to use to build families. Prescribe, operate, persist, present, produce, treat, and vary. And we have already here built the word family for persist. So persist is the verb, persistence, and it's usually followed by of. So persistence of or persistence in. The adjective is persistent, so that would describe something. And persistently would describe an action, how something is done or how something happens. Now, some of you watching this might know already that, yes, some word families have more than one verb, more than one noun, or more than one adjective or adverb. But to make this exercise simple and clean, we're going to stick with one version of each, and we are going to stick with the meaning of the word that is related to patient symptoms and patient treatment. So here's your first little challenge. See if you could, on your own, complete the missing members of these word families. And yes, like real families, some members of the family don't exist, they're missing, but that's okay. So here we see no adverb for prescribe, as well no adverb for treat. So I encourage you now to stop the video and see if on your own, without checking, how many of these you can complete. Okay, and here is the completed table. Prescribe, prescription, the adjective is prescribed, and the adverb, there's none. Operate, meaning surgery. The noun is operation. Adjective, operative. Adverb, operatively. Persist is the verb. The noun is persistence. Adjective, persistent. Adverb, persistently. Present, with respect to symptoms. Noun, presentation. Adjective, presenting. And in this case, no adverb. Yeah, that was a little trick. Produce, for example, phlegm. Production, and it's usually followed by of. So production of. The adjective is productive, so we say productive of. And the adverb is productively. Treat, the verb. The noun is treatment. Adjective is treated. And no adverb. And the last one, to vary. We're talking about symptoms and treatments here. And as mentioned, there are two nouns. So you can talk about variety or variation. And we usually say variety of and variation in. The adjective is various, and the adverb, as I mentioned, ending in ly, variously. So let's see some of these words in action. Here in this example, you see a short text, which I will now read. For the last 3 months, Ms. Franks has had a persistent cough and was given antibiotics twice. 4 days ago, she presented with a productive cough and blood-stained phlegm. The right upper lobe of her lung was removed, and she recovered well postoperatively. Her treatment now includes the standard 4-drug therapy for tuberculosis. So let's look at these words underlined and in bold. Ms. Franks has had a persistent cough. So we're looking for a word that describes cough, an adjective. So persistent is the adjective from persist. 4 days ago, she presented with. So 4 days ago, she did something. So we're looking for a verb, an action. And it was 4 days ago, so we use the simple past tense. She presented with a productive cough and blood-stained phlegm. So we're looking for a word that describes her cough. A cough is a noun, so we're looking for an adjective. The adjective from produce is productive. The right upper lobe of her lung was removed and she recovered well postoperatively. So how did she recover? We're looking for a word that described how she recovered, which means we are looking for an adverb, postoperatively. And last, her treatment now includes the standard 4-drug therapy for tuberculosis, and we're looking here for a thing. So the noun from treatment is treat. So here's the second quiz for you. Now, complete the blank space with the hints in the brackets immediately following. So the verb root is, for example, in the first blank space, prescribe. The version of the word you want is an action or a verb. Now remember, it also has to make sense with the tense. So something, antibiotics for Mr. Harley, but he is complaining of a thing, a noun. What is the noun form of persist? So he is complaining of something of pain in his side and pelvis. He often cannot work because of pain. He often cannot work, and we're looking for a word that describes an action. So we're looking for an adverb. What is the adverb from produce? He may have kidney stones. He had an last year to remove his appendix. So he had something. We're looking for a thing, a noun. What is the noun from operate? He takes over-the-counter painkillers for mild joint pain because he goes jogging a lot. So we're looking for a word that describes over-the-counter painkillers. We're looking for something that describes a noun. We are looking for an adjective. What is the adjective from very? So at this point, you can scroll back in the video, look at the table again, and then scroll back forward and complete the exercise. Okay? And these are what your answers should have been. I prescribed antibiotics for Mr. Harley, but he is complaining of persistence of pain in his side and pelvis. He often cannot work productively because of the pain. He may have kidney stones. He had an operation last year to remove his appendix. He takes various over-the-counter painkillers for mild joint pain because he goes jogging a lot. That's your lesson for today in word families to build vocabulary. So have fun continuing to build your bank of words that you know using word families. Bye for now.